Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are currently being invaded over here, and we are also incredibly close to getting heavy tanks, so we are definitely going to get some of those going. We're pretty shy on our light tank count right now, but that is okay. Well, it's not okay, but we're ramping that up. We're ramping it up. So that is excellent. We're currently losing this attack. That's not a surprise. Most of our troops are still over here. They're finally making their way over, though, so that is good. I mean, we're having a hard time moving around in this mountainous region. That's not hugely surprising. We do have heavy tanks available now, so that is fantastic. I think we're going to get improved artillery level 2 next. And then the question becomes, just how much do we want to put into building heavy tanks? Well, we definitely want to put some into that. I think that we are going to do something like that, positioning it as the current top priority. And then we're going to want to go into our divisions here and edit our armored divisions, because I want to put in a couple of units of heavy tank over here. We can replace this with a heavy tank like so. We could add a field hospital to these. I don't think it's strictly necessary. We'll hold off on putting in the final support division here. Okay. Excellent. So we are, of course, now going to be needing some heavy tanks. I'm going to cut back on our light tanks by 10 and then do something like that. Okay. That does, of course, reduce the amount of light tanks that we need for reinforcement. So that's good. And of course, our production efficiency will continue to improve over time. We want to avoid changing these as much as possible, of course, because of production efficiency purposes. There's a battle plan with no units assigned, huh? Oh, so there is. Assigned to Army 20. I thought we removed this one, but apparently we did not. Sounds good. The good news is they appear to be done doing naval invasions, and that is very good news. We are very slowly making our way over these mountains. But they really can't attack out of there, so that is perfect. So we have 7 needed for reinforcement for our infantry weapons. And we have stockpiled a billion of those. Okay, for right now, we're just going to go ahead and actually we'll leave this, but it is on literally the lowest priority. So that's fine. We're working on our heavy tanks, so that is great. And we're going to have divisions deploying pretty soon. So that is good. That guy got wounded. Okay. Not too concerned. We are finally starting to make some real progress in getting over here, though. So that is great. We'll be able to push these guys out of here with these reinforcements, no problem. Just as soon as they arrive, anyway. Now, we do have some light infantry divisions, but those will slowly get phased out as we continue. America wants some Lend-Lease. Sure, we'll take their Lend-Lease. Now, some of these are light infantry divisions. In fact, a lot of these are light infantry brigades. And we probably want to get rid of those. There are 18 and 23 divisions there, respectively. Okay. We have a lot of cavalry brigades, too. We're not developing those. And if I suppose if they get wiped, then they die. Otherwise, we're just going to be deploying in better troops to replace them to these front lines. That does explain why we didn't get quite the upgrades that we were looking for, though. But if you look at this, a lot of these are missing quite a lot of equipment, and so they're only fighting at like 45% strength. So that is definitely something that we need to be considerate of. We're going to attack over here. Not all of our divisions are in position, but that is okay. We should, in theory, have sufficient, I think. Of course, we don't actually have intel on what's in there. Yeah, we definitely do not. Okay, well, we have our divisions coming in, and the question is, where do we want to assign these to? Well, we're going to wait for the armored divisions to finish up. Or I suppose... yeah, not enough not enough to train. We can go ahead and just instantly deploy these. Like so. We're lacking heavy tanks, there's no doubt about that. But we're just going to group this up. Somewhere like here. And then we will put this in... I think we'll reinforce here. So we'll actually call this the Middle Eastern Theater. So we'll create a new one, put it into the Middle Eastern Theater, and we're going to bring them down over here for right now. That was not the front line we were looking for. That was entirely my fault. We want that, and then offensive line just like that. Excellent. So they will make their way over there, and they should be able to get there relatively quickly through this infrastructure we have over there. In theory, anyway. So that should be fine. And then if we look at these guys, we are supposed to have a stronger force here. So I think we just need to wait for our units to actually attack. Is what we need over here. Excellent. And then once these guys get down here, then we'll be able to shift these guys back to this front. And this should be a stronger force that we're bringing in here too, really. Maybe a little less experienced, though. Actually, yeah, it will definitely be less experienced. There's no doubt about that. But it will be mostly better equipped. How are we doing on our heavy tanks? Okay, we're doing quite well on our construction here. We're making a lot of progress there. I do like to see that. We have a lot to go. And a lot of infrastructure beyond that. We have taken some damage up in this region, it looks like, from our resistance to occupation. However, we should probably check in on additional military factories that we can build. Oh my, we can build a lot. Noted. That's probably something I'll do off camera. Or if we hit a giant low. We're not going to be shy on having construction going for a while, so I'm not too concerned about getting it queued up. Should be completely fine. We can also, quite soon, potentially go to war economy. And that might not be the worst idea. It will continue to reduce our consumer goods factories and increase our military factory construction speed. I'm pretty okay with that, actually. And it will increase our fuel gain per oil. I mean, we're not having a fuel issue. Yeah, now we're winning this. Fantastic. So we'll get them pushed out of here. And let's see, are you guys actually attacking? No, you're not. Well, you're also not there, so you don't have to attack. It looks like we are actually not going to get here in time. So let's go ahead and remove that order. And we'll have these guys just hop in over here instead. And they will, of course, have an offensive line right along this river, which is where we'd ideally like to push these guys to. That does, of course, mean that these should be assigned over into the Asian theater, and I want to do it like that. There we go. Excellent. These guys can now be assigned back over here. We will just front line right there. And then we will also go ahead and offensive line right along that river. There we go. So everyone in this region is going to participate in our push when the push comes. And when will that be? Well, we have a ton of regular infantry equipment. That is definitely something that we should be thinking about. Like, how much do we have stored up right now? I wish I could easily see that without waiting for it to shift over. China formalizes alliance with India. Okay. That's certainly interesting. Certainly interesting. So we have a lot of towed artillery. We have a few fighters. But I believe that we have roughly 1 billion infantry equipment stored. The question is, how do we see this? Because I would like to potentially... Actually, let's go ahead and just do that. We'll shift a few factories over to heavy tanks. Now, they're still working on their production efficiency. That's fine. That is completely fine. What do we got going on over here? Just bases in low supply? Yeah, that's expected. Okay, so when are we going to begin this assault? Well, we need a national focus. There's no doubt about that. Daily communism support or daily fascism support? No, thank you on the fascism support. We will take the daily communism support. Excellent. Okay, so all of these units here, these are the ones that are bordering Pratiharan. And we probably want to begin an attack soon. The question is, how long until our infantry equipment 2? 88 days and 69 days on improved artillery as well. Okay. Well, we are making some progress. We have pushed them out of this region. So that's great. I do want to grab Construction 3. That's a little bit ahead of time, but I still want to grab it ASAP. That'll be an important thing for us to get. We do have 6 research slots, which is pretty good. I don't think there are any other research slots available, are there? Is this a research slot? No. No, it is not. Yeah, no research slots are currently available. Sounds good. But, yeah, this seems fine. So Pratiharan is no longer really attacking us. The war is kind of a stalemate right now. And the question, of course, is, just how much does that work for us? What are these guys doing? Ah, they can't continue moving because there's no supply limit there. Gotcha. And these guys are, yeah, from this. Well, they'll get there eventually, it looks like. They're working on it. But that supply limit over here is definitely a little bit rough. There's no doubt about that. Okay, so these guys belong over in this region. Excellent. So the question is, should we start trying to push in? Well, we have a research slot available, apparently. I thought I got us a research here. And I thought I got, well, I got construction 3 is what I did. Okay, we can grab concentrated industry 3. More max factories in a state. That is, of course, what is giving us more factories that we can build all the time. But all of these are going to be ready to attack soon enough. Not you. Not you. Can we deselect that? No. Okay. Fine. Well, all of these guys are going to be prepped to attack relatively soon. And I think we're just going to go. Begin the attacks. We're losing these right now. I'm not hugely surprised by this, though. I want to check in to our heavy tank production right now. Yeah, we're back up to maxed on our infantry equipment. And our production efficiency is coming up, so that is great. Our production efficiency on all of these, except infantry weapons, because we have no factories assigned to it, is coming up. Good to see. That is very, very good to see. We're going to continue putting in military factories into heavy tanks for right now. And then we're definitely going to need some more light tanks. There's no doubt about that. But more military factories are being constructed all the time. I'm reasonably content with losing these battles. Reasonably content. I'm not hugely content with it. Let's see, is this like a river or something? I don't know. It's hard to tell with all those defensive lines on it. I think this is a river for sure. This may be a river crossing. Yeah, there's a river crossing there. So that's what we're having trouble crossing. Okay, that's fine. I want to check in on these guys' intel. We can see that they have a lot of manpower currently available. They must be going up their mobilization, and we could go to limited conscription. But we're not currently lacking in manpower. So volunteer only is fine, I think, for now. Let's go ahead and grab overwhelming firepower. We actually could switch back to that, but we'll spend some military experience on getting that faster. Excellent. So, I mean, yeah, these battles aren't going the best. I didn't necessarily expect them to. We're just trying to utilize our advantages in economy and production right now. Because I guarantee you we have an advantage and they can't outproduce us. So eventually we'll press them too hard, and they won't be able to press back. Once we get our infantry equipment 2 heading out, that will probably be a really solid upgrade as well. And our improved artillery as well. That will be very, very good for us. We're currently at plus 17% on our research speed, and ultimately we want to be higher than that, but that's as good as we can do for right now. Now, we can bump up to war economies, and we're definitely going to do that to increase our military factory construction speed and our fuel generation as well. I mean, we don't need more fuel. We're doing fine on that front. So that is okay. But we are now constructing these even faster. So that is great. Sweet, sweet military factories coming in. As you can see, we're currently up to 89 military factories on our heavy tanks. Cambodia has formalized an alliance with India. I'm not hugely surprised by this. Let's see. Ooh, that's 200 political power. Yes, we will happily take 200 political power. Are we being invaded anywhere? No, we are not. Sounds good. So it's all about this front. That's what it all boils down to. Now I'd like to find some way to tip the tide here. They have a lot of airplanes in that airbase. That's for sure. But I really don't think they can keep up with our production levels. I would be utterly shocked if they can keep up with our production levels. I mean, we're up to 92 military factories working on heavy tanks right now. And granted, we're only making 6.56 per day. And we need 8,000. But a lot of that is because our production efficiency isn't all that great right now. Now, we are working on that with our... actually, that's a construction tech. Our advanced machine tools is what we're working on that with. That's 91 days out. That's okay. Yeah, we currently can't advance because of supply, I think. Oh, unit organization is too low to advance. Okay, well, there's our artillery finishing up. So, let's switch our towed... Let's see, this is towed anti-air. I want to switch our towed artillery over to improved artillery. Now, that is, of course, going to reset our production efficiency, but that's okay. Next up, we probably want to go to... I mean, I would absolutely love to continue going down some of these trees. Many of these we are well ahead of time on. We could work on our air technology. That is definitely something. Like, for example, we could grab heavy fighters, scout planes, things like that. I'm actually almost more interested, however, in going ahead of time on improved computing machine. I don't know. Maybe that's not the greatest idea. We're already researching multiple things in industry. Maybe we should just grab Support Weapons 3, actually. Or Mechanized 1. Interwar Armored Cars. I mean, we could get Mountain Infantry. We are fighting in a mountainous region. That's a thing we could theoretically do. But that would make way too much sense. So I don't think we're going to do that. Why would we ever do that one? All of these things are pretty much ahead of time. Our naval doctrine is to not have a navy. However, we could start working on an air doctrine, and I think we'll go for air superiority. Excellent. So that is fine. Our heavy tanks are going to be maxed out on their factories working on them relatively soon. Now, I still think that having 2 production lines of light tanks and 1 production line of heavy tank is okay. We are, of course, making some bombers. I would absolutely love to get our production efficiency up. Okay. Pratiharan has decrypted our ciphers. Good for them. We don't really have anything going on. In fact, we're just going to halt our assaults for right now. We're not making any progress here. We just don't have the organization. That is completely fine. We will start making progress against them eventually. There's no way they can keep up with our production levels. If we can just push past these mountains, that's what we really need. But yeah, getting some Alpine units, that might be a good idea. And we're going to have another army coming out soon enough. That is also very, very good. There's a naval invasion going on in Arabia, apparently. We have troops defending the coast, though. Which is, I think, why it's not saying a dangerous naval invasion. So I don't think they're going to be able to succeed in landing there, is my guess. I don't know that for sure, but that's my guess. But there is infantry equipment 2. That is fantastic. Let's start working on Mountain Infantry 1. And we, of course, are currently producing Infantry Equipment 1. We're going to swap that over to Infantry Equipment 2 there and there. Excellent. Now, our production efficiency here is, of course, now garbage. It'll slowly tick up. And we will start putting in Infantry Equipment 2. We have a bunch of Infantry Equipment 1 banked. That was like 500,000. So I don't think... Yeah, this is what we need for reinforcement right now. So I don't think that we're going to have an issue of running out of Infantry Equipment 1 if we stop production on it. So now that infantry equipment is making its way out into the armies. So that is wonderful. And those technologies are all quite a ways away. And our production cap is working on coming up. We're almost capped on our production efficiency for light tanks, so that's great. We're at 117 out of 150 for heavy tank military factories. So we're getting very close on that front. In fact, we're getting very close to wrapping up our military factory initial order and working on infrastructure. And I think that's okay for now. We can do that. We're definitely going to want to get back to building military factories relatively soon, though. because we are lacking in some important goods. There's an unread naval convoy raider battle result in the Mediterranean. Interesting. Wonder if they're going to do a naval invasion over here. If they do, the plan is to simply deploy this army that is in training and send that on over. So that should be fine. This is very much a stalemate over here, but that should change as we continue getting more and more powerful every single day. For now, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time, when hopefully we can start cracking into Pratiharan.